Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Stott. I'm presenting here today with Ishan Chauhan, Julianne Amoya, and Oliver Carswell. Today, we will be talking to you all about the MGM Grand Fire disaster, how it happened, any ethical concerns that were raised from it, and risk analysis both at the time and how it led to future developments. Before we get into how this fire exactly started, we would like to show you all a few images of the fire. Now, these are live images taken on the day of the fire. These images show the immense damage caused by this fire. Now, we will get into the investigation and research portion of the presentation.
Hi everyone, I'm Ishan. I'm the researcher for this presentation. My role here is to provide a detailed overview of the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino fire, examining what happened, why it happened, and the lasting impact it had on safety regulations and ethical standards. This tragic event took place on November 21, 1980 in Paradise, Nevada. To start off, my research draws from the official investigation report by the National Fire Protection Association. The MGM Grand Hotel was constructed in 1972. While it had a fire alarm system and sprinklers in most areas, the crucial parts of the building, like the casino and the deli, were not covered by sprinklers, as building codes before 1976 didn't require it. So, what happened exactly? The fire ignited in the deli and rapidly spread through the casino floor. Although the flames were largely contained to the first floor, they released thick, toxic smoke that quickly infiltrated the hotel tower. Within just 6 minutes, the entire casino floor was engulfed, with the smoke spreading at an alarming rate of 10 to 13 miles an hour. Talking about the casualties, tragically, this incident resulted in 85 deaths, with most victims succumbing to smoke inhalation and around 600 to 700 injuries. Most of the fatalities were concentrated on the higher floors, where people were trapped due to lack of communication and emergency instructions. Unfortunately, people on the lower floors were also trapped due to blocked exits and locked doors, leading to further casualties. Talking about the cause of the fire was identified as an electrical ground fault in a Delhi display case, where sparking from an electrical short circuit ignited highly flammable materials. So, how did it spread? The fire spread rapidly due to combustible materials like PVC piping, wallpaper, and adhesive, and the lack of sprinklers in these key areas allowed it to intensify. Smoke quickly traveled through unsealed elevator shafts and stairwells, causing widespread smoke inhalation issues on the upper floors. The emergency response to that by the Clark County Fire Department was that they responded quickly, but the building's complex layout and unfamiliarity with posed significant challenges. With locked fire doors and insufficient evacuation protocols, over 1,000 people had to be evacuated by helicopter from the roof. This incident led to significant reforms in the fire safety codes in Nevada. It made sprinkler systems, smoke detectors, and strict emergency protocols mandatory in public buildings. However, it also raises critical ethical questions about decision making and accountability. Was public safety prioritized over cost savings? Should these risks have been better addressed from the start? As we dive deeper into these ethical implications, let's consider how this incident serves as a reminder of the moral duty of engineers and decision makers that how they have to ensure safety in public spaces.
As an ethics analyst, my job is to analyze the ethical questions that this situation proposes and see how it brought change. In order to ethically judge the situation, we can look into if the hotel was following all the fire code safety laws and regulations at the time, specifically with the fire alarms, sprinklers, and ventilation system, since these were the main contributors to the tragedy. So newer county building codes did require automatic fire alarms and sprinkler systems in hotels. However, these rules did not apply to the MGM Hotel since it was built before these laws were passed. So the hotel was not technically required to update their manual fire alarm system to an automatic one. So in the panic of the incident, the alarm was never sounded, and many guests didn't know what was happening until it was too late. And when the hotel was built, areas under 24/7 operation did not legally require sprinklers. But since then, the restaurant where the fire originated had stopped operating continuously, but no codes required an update or review of safety measures. Another huge factor in the tragedy was the circulation of smoke throughout the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. So, whereas today mandatory smoke control systems would automatically shut down this system to prevent the spread of smoke, at the time, some buildings had this system implemented, but it was not legally required. So, the hotel was at a bare minimum following all of the safety codes and regulations. So it was concluded by the National Fire Protection Association that if the building had a full sprinkler system installed, the fire would likely have been contained. So the ethical question comes down to, regardless of having followed all the rules and safety regulations, was it the responsibility of the hotel to prioritize human safety over their finances? And even though they were not required to, should they have been keeping up with the newer safety laws? Or was it more the responsibility of lawmakers and inspection agencies to enforce these laws on companies, assuming that they will choose cost over safety every time? The truth is that if either the hotel or lawmakers had taken on this ethical responsibility to protect human safety, the tragedy would likely have never occurred. And we do believe that it should be the lawmakers' responsibility to uphold these standards, since it makes a very clear distinction on right from wrong in these otherwise questionable ethical matters. And due to the MGM Grand Hotel fire and another significant fire in a Las Vegas hotel at the same time, fire codes and standards were updated nationwide, as Ishan mentioned. So, along with analyzing the ethical dilemma of this tragedy, a full analysis would require a look into the risks as well.
I'm Oliver Carswell. I'm the risk analyst, and today I'm going to be looking at a couple of different types of risk that we need to analyze for this event and for going forward for the rest of the industry. So the first type of risk we want to look at is financial risk. Financial risk can take a couple different forms. We see that there's going to be an increased liability on the part of the hotel. This means that there's going to be more lawsuits. If they're in the case of another event, this means that there's going to be more lawsuits. There's going to be more legal and medical compensation required, and there's going to be more settlements that are going to need to be paid out. This is a big cost for a hotel or a casino that could easily be avoided if they follow the required risk management practices. Next, we have the hurt consumer reputation. People are going to trust you less. Your reputation is not going to be as high as it was before this theoretical fire. So people are going to come less. They're going to spend less money, and you're going to lose out on profits. So you won't lose money by having to pay, but you will lose potential money. Finally, we have an increase in insurance. When something bad happens, it's the same with your car insurance. You get in a car accident, you're going to have to pay more on your next payments. They're going to see you as a bigger risk to yourself and to the insurance company, so they're going to charge you more money. Next, we have economical risks. Economical risks are going to be something like market value and industry decline. Market value is defined by investors pulling out and people not trusting you. You're going to need investors to put in money to your casino to make it run, to make your hotel have upgrades. And when they see that you're not following the risk management practices, they're going to pull their money out. Your stock's going to decline. Your equity is going to decline, and it's not going to be good for your company. If you again, the industry decline, that's the same thing with the hotel, but just on a bigger scale. On an individual level, you'll lose money, but the whole industry is also going to be in decline from when a consumers see that a second or third or fourth event has happened. If there's another fire, say with another hotel, people are going to notice the trend, and the whole industry will suffer because of that. Finally, there's the social risks. We see that there are large public health risks, meaning that people are not going to be safe if you don't follow the risk management practices. The MGM did not update their fire safety practices. They did not have updated routes for firefighters to get in, and that was a big risk for everyone inside before the fire even happened. And once it happened, those risks kind of matriculated, and we saw the results from that. So public health is a big one in terms of social risk. Going forward, if you update your risks management, you'll be safer and you'll save money. Finally, we have trust from investors and public. Your social stock goes down just as the same as your market stock. It's gonna hurt your reputation. You're gonna lose money. It's a lose, lose, lose. So this is why we put an emphasis on risk. So next, we're going to take a look at going forward, how we can use what we learned to help us out in the future. So we see long-term versus short-term financial gain. If you prioritize short-term financial gain, as in the case of MGM Grand in 1980, they did not update their fire safety practices. They had a lot of gaping holes that were eventually exposed because they did not practice the right fire safety management, and their risk was off. So if they had invested a large sum of money to update their codes to get everything up to safety standards, they would have been in a much better spot, because after the fire, they had to pay so much compensation, they had to rebuild, and here we see the new MGM Grand. Now it is up to date, it's completely safe, and they focused on the long-term financial gain by investing a lot in the beginning as opposed to having to pay it out later. Finally, who's affected by not following risks and not learning from our ethical mistakes? On a very finite level, there is the people that are inside the building, everyone who died and everyone who was injured. They're obviously the most affected. But then you can keep going back. There's the employees of the hotel, employees of the casino, customers, consumers that use the casino, investors that invest in the casino and hotel. They're going to lose their money, they're going to lose stock. And even on a bigger scale, the communities and the places and the governments that make up the areas that these casinos live in, they're going to lose out on a lot of business. They're going to lose out on a lot of possible income. So it's not good for anyone. It's going to hurt business. And this is why risk management and analyzing risk from previous decisions and events is so important.
Thank you, Oliver. So in conclusion, as seen by the many somewhat harrowing photos throughout this presentation, as well as the findings by Ishan, this fire was a disaster in every sense of the word. 85 people died, over hundreds were injured, and it led to a complete renovation, which, as you can see here, turned out to be pretty nice still, of the MGM Grand Casino. Now, we looked at this ethical approach and we came to the conclusion through a utilitarian perspective, a perspective that benefits the mass majority of people, not just those who are in power or those who are making the decisions. We came to the decision, as shown both by the ethical analysis and the risk analysis, that it was the company's responsibility to make these changes, which they obviously now have post this incident. We believe that it is for the better of not only the people that are staying there and their safety, the people who are working there and their safety and their jobs, but also in the best interest of the company themselves in terms of profit, as shown very well by Oliver here previously. In order to make the most profit, it may not always seem like the best option to take on risks such as safety or fire safety specifically in this case for the company. However, due to this example alone, it can be seen that taking these financial risks now always pay off in the long run. Now with that, we'd like to thank you for watching our presentation. I would like to show you our reference list and open up the floor to any questions. Thank you very much.